We pray for deliverance, and that deliverance can only come through obedience. May the spirit of obedience rest upon each one of us. May we do the things that please you, for you are our God. May Yahweh, who is God forever and ever, may he rest upon us, and we may walk through the straight and narrow path. May Yahweh bless each and every one of us, and may he bless this newborn that has come into the earth. Bless the mother, bless each and every one of us, no matter what is happening in our lives. May we call upon the name of Yahweh, and may it be still. Shalom.
Shalom.
May Yahweh God, may you turn to may you turn to Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31, verse 3. Yahweh has appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Do you understand that? Your God don't love you. He loves you. And therefore, in his love for you, he just didn't say, I love them. He said, I love them with an everlasting love. A penetrating love. A love that surpasses this love. And therefore, we have done something in our journey that has basically, what have we done? Let's go to Jeremiah 18. Jeremiah 18 says, Jeremiah 18 verse 15 says, because my people have forgotten me. We have forgotten Yahweh God. That God that loves us with an everlasting love, a penetrating love, that he wants us to understand that he will not give his glory to another. So he has awakened his love. And therefore, as one that is being wakened out of sleep, we've been startled. And therefore, a blanket has been put up over us so that we might gain our stability. Yahweh God has said a very touching and endearing in Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8. It says, for he that touches you touches the apple of my eye. For thus said Yahweh of hosts, after the glory has he sent me unto the nations, which spoiled you. For he that touches you, these are words of endearment, words of compassion to say to one that says to his beloved. Yahweh God says, Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8. Yahweh said that he has loved us with a great love. My brothers and sisters, let's go to Micah. In Micah, it says, Micah chapter 7, verse 8, he says, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, Yahweh shall be a light unto me. What is the light? Can we go to Proverbs? Look, well, let's see the light. Because it said, Yahweh will be a light unto me. Shouldn't you find the light? What is the light? I want you to understand the light so you can enjoy it. Proverbs 6, verse 23. For the commandments is a lamp, and the Torah is a light. And though we sit in darkness, Yahweh is a light unto us, and that light is the Torah. Okay? And he said, rejoice not against me, O my enemy, for I shall rise again. He says here, I will bear the iniquity of Yahweh because I have what? Sinned against him until he plead my cause. Let's go to Joel. Isn't Yahweh pleading our cause? He says, plead our cause. If we go in the book of Joel, we will find that Yahweh God is sitting down, Joel chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and what? Parted my land. Isn't that land parted? Yes. When we go into St. Matthew's chapter 21, verse 24, and he says here, he says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Didn't we fall by the edge of the sword? And Matthew's 21, verse 24, verse 24. And they shall be led away captive. When has any European white man been led away captive? Captive means to be taken by force. He said, into all nations. You were led into all nations in captivity. No nation, because this is a description of your identity. He says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down unto the Gentile, and until the time of the Gentile be fulfilled. It's St. Luke, chapter 21, verse 24.
St. Luke?
St. Luke. So he said, yes, he said this. He said that Jerusalem will be trodden underfoot, and Yahweh will plead as we sit in darkness. We have seen a light, which is the Torah. Now, what does Yahweh wants us to do as we sit? Let's go to Psalm 37. Psalm 37. This is what Yahweh is. He says, Psalm 37, verse 7. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him that prospereth in his way, because of the men who bring wicked devices to pass. Yahweh said, I want you to rest. I want you to be patient. He says also, he goes on, and we should go to the book of Lamentation. He also goes on to explain to us the merit that is important for him to work what he's going to work in the earth. But he wants us to be patient. He wants us to lean on the thing that would breed the best for us, and that is patience. And that's so hard. And he says he wants us to wait. Lamentation 3:26. 3:26. It said, it is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of Yahweh. Just wait. But what happened? What makes this so difficult? Let's go to Habakkuk. Let's talk. Let's go to, which some people say Habakkuk, Habakkuk. Okay. Habakkuk. Okay. We want to go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, means that it will linger. Wait for it, because it shall surely come, it shall not tarry. In the time of its activation, why is the circumstances prevailing as it is this day? Because of what was given, what was said to the blessing that was given to Esau. This Yahweh is honoring Isaac's words. He says, and Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I'm at Genesis 27, verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him what? Thy Lord. Well, I'm his Lord. And all his brothers as I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine I sustained him. And what shall I do unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing unto me? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered him and said, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and by thy sword thou shalt live. Doesn't he live by the sword? He's perfecting the art of murder. He is a murderer by the very blessing that his father gave him. He told him, he says, and by thy sword, what? Thou shalt live. In other words, he'll take everything by might. He said, and shall serve thy brother. He's going to serve us whether you like it or not. He ain't got no choice, because that's in the spiritual legal contract. And he says, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. In other words, so he says he wants you to tarry. He said, I want you to wait. Now, what does it say in Daniel? Daniel 12. Let's go to Daniel 12. Waiting is so important. Waiting is so important. Daniel 12. He says, blessed is he that waited.
What verse?
It's a blessing. Daniel 12, verse 12. He said, blessed is he that waiteth. Why? Let's go to Isaiah 64. Why? Why? He said, blessed is he that waiteth. Blessed is he that doesn't become weak, but weary, but become strong. Isaiah chapter 64, verse 4. For since the beginning of the world man has not heard, nor perceived by the ears, neither has the eye seen, O Elohim, besides thee, what he has prepared for him that what?
That wait.
That wait for him. So he said, those that wait for me in righteousness and doing my will. He said, fret yourself not because of evildoers, that they bring wicked devices to pass. He said, this wait. He said, it might tarry, but he said, it will surely speak in its time, in its place. But he has to honor Isaac's word.
Yes.
He's honoring Isaac's word to give Esau the total dominion of rulership and wickedness. He's wicked. So the point is, Yahweh wants us to understand his position. And may Yahweh bless us. And now, let us go to understand this so that we might grow wise. Let's go to Jeremiah, because see, Esau, my brother, he ain't gonna change, but he should. He should. Let's go to Jeremiah 2. Why should he change? Because the thing to change him, he ain't giving it no attention. What is it? Thy own wickedness shall correct thee. But his wickedness ain't correcting him. What verse? I'm at Jeremiah 2, verse 19. His own wickedness, as our own wickedness, has corrected us that we're here this day. Giving praise to our God. Okay. Now, why isn't it being done this way? Let's go to Proverbs. Show you what is transpiring in his mind. Proverbs 10, verse 24. He has been so messed up. Proverbs Okay,
24.
10:24.
yes. 10, Proverbs 10.
Shalom.
Okay. Okay. It says here, Proverbs 10.
You said 24, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 10:24.
Okay, Proverbs 10. I want to make sure.
The fear of the wicked.
Okay. Yes. Proverbs 10. Could somebody read that for me?
The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire
Okay, it says the fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him. So if his fear should come upon him and his wickedness should correct him, what is so enticing that he can't let this go? Let's go to
Proverbs 10, what?
24. Proverbs 12, 26. Why is it that he can't let it go? Let me read this to you. It says, but the way of the wicked seduces them. He's being seduced by his own, he's intoxicated.
That's Proverbs 12.
That's Proverbs
12:26.
That's right. So he is being
Oh, but the way of the wicked. Okay.
he is being brought in by seduction of his own action. And what is the seduction of this planet? Does anybody tell me?
Money?
No.
Evil?
What is it? Sex.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sex is the seduction of this planet. That's right. There hasn't, tell me how many men that didn't fall, that was in positions of government that didn't
Right.
fall.
Right,
Because they fell for what? Under the sexual influence. You can't name me too many people that didn't fall under that category.
Right.
And when the sexual influence enhancing in the world, and the sexual influence is not only bad with the woman, it was worse with the man. Governor Greevey went out in such shame.
Yeah.
Spencer had a better reputation than Governor Greevey.
Right.
Splitzer, that's right. Because he was after some women, but they just was called another name. But Governor Greevey was deep in some type of man. So his was totally disgraceful. You understand what I'm saying? So I just wanted to tell you, see, they're seduced and their seduction. We'll get back to that. Let me move on. Now, because of his seduction, let's go to Psalm 49. Psalm 49 explains to you what he's given his attention. It says, verse 11, their inward thoughts is that their house shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call their land after their own names. So the point is that in their wickedness, they established to believe that they will remain forever. And therefore, let's go to Psalm 37, 14. 37, 14. 37,
Yeah.
Psalm 34,
Yeah.
37 what? I'm sorry.
Psalm 37, starting at 14. The wicked has drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own hearts, and their bows shall be broken. But it says here, The wicked is drawing out the sword and have bent their bow. And how have they done it? Let's go to Psalm 10. Let me show you how they have done it. Psalm 10 verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the village. In the secret places does he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. So he does it secretly. He doesn't do it open. He does it in his policies. He does it to where you see the results, but you say, that can't be true. He steals from those that are helpless. He calls us reckless, and he's more reckless in his wickedness. He has totally saturated and plundered, and he has done so much harm to the greatest bodies of water. The Pacific and the Atlantic is totally polluted. That's wickedness. To where your very surroundings, now he said he want to go to Mars. You understand? You have to see, there's an evil that we do to ourselves. There's an evil that comes that we call evil by the hand of God. There's an evil that is put in place by governments and rulers. Tell me what evil is easier to get out of?
What you do yourself.
And what else?
God.
That's right. But the other one is hard. Because it's in place by men that are greedy for the things of the world that passes away. They do. Let's go to the cemetery and see. And the pharaohs were wicked men. Why would you bury all that gold? They had every right to rob those things, because why would you bury those things when the people in the physical world needed it?
Starving.
That's right. They starved the people because they wanted to be rulers in the other world. God, wherever they are, don't let them be rulers in heaven. If this white man thought he was ruler in heaven, they all go up to the highest thing and jump off. Because if they thought that God was white, they would commit mass suicide. But they know he ain't. Matter of fact, they'll try to tell you they ain't no God. But there's more evidence. See, we can't prove there is, but they can't prove it isn't. So more than likely, what? It is. You understand what I'm saying? He can't prove to me that it isn't. And I may not be able to prove to him that it is. But the genius of Yahweh is always seen. You know how it's seen?
Yeah, do.
All you do is look around.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everything's on time except a wicked man. But this black man's on time. We on time. We on Yah's time.
There you go.
See, we ain't late.
Great. Oh, yeah, I was
But we've done certain things wrong.
Yes.
See, we've done certain things wrong. What have we done wrong? We've been disobedient. Because this, like the Torah, is our light. We were the light to the world. We were the light to the world. And therefore, we have to take the blame for not doing our part. We double-crossed ourselves, but let me tell you something. The world had their hand in it too. They had their hand in it too. I don't want nobody to get you to believe that your total downfall was due to you. You helped to keep it along by by the lack of discipline. But when you read this book and you take a closer look at it, the nations put forth some devious plans. And I'm saying to you, this book answers all the questions. And what we're doing here in this room right now is that we're putting everything back together. And we're praying. Because Yahweh God said, labor to bring this into existence. Aren't we laboring? Aren't we laboring?
Yes.
We're laboring to do what? Become obedient. We're wrestling. We have to give up our girlfriends, our children, throw them out of the house because they're reckless. You understand? I mean, you got to do some stuff. You know, you got to clean house to save yourself after you told your children to sit down and be still and be patient. They want it all now. They want it all now. We want it all, but they don't understand. They didn't lose it overnight. They ain't gonna gain it overnight. But Yahweh God wants us to continue. It says, let us go to Proverbs 11. Because when we finish this, we want to let our children understand that even though there were certain things put in place against us, there's certain things put in place against the wicked man. It says, Proverbs 11 verse 7, when a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish. See, they have put 11 cents. When Rockefeller died, there was a great mourning, greater than you know. Yahweh God said in Psalm 49, this is in Psalm 49, he says, Psalm 49, verse 19, he shall go to the generation of his fathers, they shall never see light. They shall never see light. You are children of the light, because the Torah is the light. And therefore, because the Torah is the light, and you're the children of the light, you abide in light. And the only reason that the light becomes dull around you is when you begin, when your discipline begins to lack.
Wow.
When your discipline begins to lack, then your light dims. And the thing about it is that there's no light for the wicked man. See, his light has been put out. And what was our job but to be a light to who? To be a light to the Gentiles. That was our job. You understand? And it's still our job today. You understand? Because he says what? Isaiah 49 verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the reserves of Israel. I will give thee for a light to the Gentiles. See, we was the light. But how could we be the light? Let's go into Psalms and let me show you what they did. Because see, we not only double-crossed ourselves. Let's go to Psalms chapter 2. We not only double-crossed ourselves, but they were involved. Psalm 2, verse 1. Why do the heathens rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers took counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointing, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So there was a plot. There was a scheme, a dirty double scheme. And that scheme comes out in Psalm 83. He says here, starting at verse 3, 83 Psalm 83 verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off what? For being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederates against thee. The tabernacle of Edom. Look at your brother's name sitting at the very beginning. He's your brother. He double-crossed you to this day. And then your cousin wasn't too far behind him. Ishmaelite. The Ishmaelites, the Moabs, who was the children of Lot, his two daughters that had, they all came against us. All of them secretly, that has been put down and come down to this day. So it ain't all your own recklessness. But why? What happened? Let me show you. Let's go into Deuteronomy. When they hit you, they tore themselves up. It was no way it was going to work out for anybody, because the very thing that was to save them was the very thing that they did the worst to. Why? It says in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding. What did it say? Wisdom is what? The principal thing. Get wisdom, but with all thy getting, get what? So didn't he say, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. See, you were supposed to be an example for the world. You understand?